Okay, I'm going to take you through the key assessment. It's the diversity book take home activity. So you're going to click on this link, and everything is linked out to Google Drive or to a hyperlink. So I'm going to click on that. Those are my instructions. The first thing that I want to share with you is that there are several pieces that you need to read or know before you can actually do your activity. So your advancing equity position statement is here. Okay, I'm going to decline the cookies. You can have it in English or Spanish. And your advancing equity statement is here. It gives you the purpose, the position, the recommendations for early childhood educators. It goes through the gamut. The purpose of the statement is one of 5 foundational documents. Okay. And it's the focus on advancing equity in early childhood education. So those are the 5 documents that they were talking about. And it's just advancing equity, understanding the broader societal context, understanding our bias, historical and current inequalities or inequities, and then just embracing our differences. So here is the position. Here are recommendations for everyone. And here are recommendations for early childhood educators. Now, I'm just going to leave this right here and go back to the key assessment really quick. All right. So with this, there is a fact sheet and a lesson plan. I'm going to go to the fact sheet because this is important. I'm going to make a copy. And then I am going to highlight copy of, and I am going to put Tina LeBaron. Obviously, that's my name. You put your name, and now I have a copy in my drive. I'm going to show you how to access this, but now this is your drive. All right. On here, you can see that there are identified 3 ways to create relationships with diverse families here. Okay. On this one, you are using the advancing equity position statement. So the 3 ways have to align with these, right? So uphold unique value and dignity of each child and family, promote children's agency, scaffold children's learning and to achieve meaningful goals, recognize each child's unique strengths and support the full inclusion of all children, develop trusting relationships with children and nurture relationships among them while building their knowledge and skills, consider developmental, cultural, linguistic opportunities or appropriateness, involve children and families and community in the design and implementation. You're going to be using a multi-tiered system of support. You're going to collaborate with childhood special educators and aligned with the education of professionals. You will consider how your own biases, implicit or explicit, may be contributing to your interactions. You're going to recognize and be prepared to provide different levels of support and design and implement activities using language that children can understand. So those are our recommendations for educators. Okay, and below that are establish reciprocal relationships between children, or I'm sorry, with families. Embrace the primary role of the family is the first teacher. You're going to observe and document, assess children's learning and development, and then advocate on behalf of young children. So all of these are a continuation of um, the advancing equity statement. Okay. Um, so you are going to come up with 3 activities. I apologize. Let me go back to this. Identify 3 ways to create relationships with diverse families here. So by reading this, you're going to find or create 3 ways on how to consider. I'm just going to go here. Consider the developmental, cultural, and linguistic appropriateness of the learning environment and teaching practices of each child. So offer meaningful, relevant opportunities, challenging activities across all interests and ability of children and genders. Um, So how can you do that? How can we do this with families? Or bring them down here, because this would be even a good one. Um, so how do we uphold every family's right to make decisions for their own children? Okay, so think of things like that. Be curious, making time. Be curious, making time to learn about families with whom you work with. So you need to identify how you're going to create those three activities. All right. Um, so advancing equity, you need to read it, you need to understand it in order to move on from the three little activities. So that is this part. The three diverse characteristic books sounds really easy. However, let's go back to the instructions. So the candidates will identify diverse family and community characteristics, socioeconomic conditions, family structures, relationships. Well, that sounds fine, but how do you locate that information? And so what you have to do is you have to go to one of these sites. I'm just going to go to Kids Count. This seems, again, like a really user-friendly site, but you have to know how to use it. So if you just click on Kids Count, I chose Arizona. You can do by county. Oh, you can do by county. And believe it or not, it's pretty much right here. You can scroll down and it gives you a lot of information, right? So, and I'm just gonna choose something, right? So let's say family structure, grandchildren being raised by grandparents, right? Um, and then you can actually pull data from that area. Now, that sounds super easy. However, the actual assignment is for a specific area. So by saying by county, that's not really what we're looking for, right? But I just wanted to show you what that would look like. So I am going to go by, I'm going to go by city. And I want to choose, so let me see if I can make a custom report. By zip code. Haha. And now I can choose whatever zip code I want. So let's see. 850 85020. Let's just see what that looks like. And then I'm going to go to next. And then indicators. View all indicators. Create report. And I'm just going to see what it comes up with. Ooh, nothing in that area. Okay. Now remember, this might take you a little while because Kids Count is only as good as the information that's being put into it. So if families are choosing not to participate, then you're going to run the risk of not being able to find their information. So we're going to go by zip code again. I'm just going to pick a new one, 85312. I don't know what, again, just making okay. And this might be a thing for you. You might have a hard time finding the area that you want. That doesn't mean that this is necessarily a bad program. It just means that some people are not contributing. So let's do 853. Let's do 85382. Let's see if that pops up anything. That's, I believe, North Peoria or Peoria. So let's see. So maybe by a zip code is not the best way to do this. Maybe in this one, it would be by city. And then we tend to get information. So children ages 6 to 12 with available parents in the labor force, um, children whose parents lack secure employment, unemployed teens. So you actually, children living in a households that are not, or that are owned. Um, so that's interesting. I like data, so I can find anything interesting about that. Households with children who lost employment income. And during the pandemic, I guess everybody can say that. Receiving pay, public assistance, children receiving SNAP or food stamps. You can, wow, you can really get some numbers. So this is one way of doing it, okay? Now, the other way is there are two. City data is another way, right? And you can choose Arizona. Sorry. And then you can see all of the red dots. So I'm just going to go to Glendale because it's a fairly big city. And this tells you pretty much everything that you're going to need to know about City of Glendale. So it tells you that the population of males is 49%, females is 50%. So the median age of residents are about 35. Estimated household income in Glendale is about 57,000. Arizona about 62. So it does give you, as far as like poverty level, I'll know that sounds like a good amount of money. I think that's working class. Um, so it's really important to understand the data that you're getting. All right. The other one that I'm going to tell you about that is not listed is census.gov. And census.gov is great because most people will use the census.gov when the individuals walk around and ask how many people are in your household, your annual income, stuff like that. You can explore data. You can browse by topics: education, sex, emergency, employment, Hispanic origin, housing, health, surveys, uh, all different kinds of things. You can, so I'm going to do by topic, and I am going to do by, let's see, education. Actually, I'm going to go to geography. Oh, I'm going to go geography. So from here, I should be able to pull data. And then I should be able to put my, oh no, I don't want my put my email, but I should be from here be able to go in and interactive maps. And then you pull a lot of information. Everyone wants to look at these a little bit differently. But look how cool this is. So I want to search 85382 Peoria, Arizona. And let's just see what comes up.